my friends, and welcome to the Growing Happy Babies Birthworkers interview series. In this podcast directory, I make sure that you have the easiest possible time deciding which wonderful birth supporter is right for inviting into your family's journey. All the potential members of your essential prenatal and postpartum village are assembled right here in the Growing Happy Babies directory. Doulas, midwives, prenatal and infant body workers, lactation consultants, and so much more. I'm Adina Kopinski, board-certified lactation consultant and fellow mom. Together, we transition more easily into motherhood. Let's grow some happy babies together. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rivka Zlotkin-Flau, who works in women's holistic wellness and childbirth support. She is a doula, a yoga therapist, a reflexologist, among so many other skills. Welcome, Rivka.
Welcome.
It is really wonderful for me to get to know you, and I'm so happy everyone listening gets the opportunity to get to know you as well. And I wanted to ask you to start with, if you could tell us a little bit about how you got into this profession of, being such a strong helper and advocate for pregnant women.
Hi. So really it started with my own pregnancy, the first one. So I thought I should really take a doula. So I took a doula and she did a preparation very much. Most of it I learned from books. And then when it came the time for when I got my contractions, and it was in the middle of the night, I phoned her and she said, "Well, you sound so calm. I don't think I need to come out. I don't think there's a reason for it." And it was getting later and later. My husband firstly got up and then he went back to sleep again. He was very tired. And then it was just getting stronger and stronger. And I didn't have the possibility to phone her anymore. And she never checked in either.
Wow.
It was before WhatsApps and things like that. So she was with me at birth, but I got to the hospital when I was already dilated 10 centimeters and everything was just there. And what was really not nice that she did not, after the birth, I lost a lot of blood and they had to stitch me. They didn't let her be there, but also she didn't really push herself to be with me. And that was the time I really needed her. So I said, that is not what I want to do. I want to be a doula and I want to really help women get support. And also, I learned it just before my daughter had her first baby.
Mm.
I wanted to help her too. So
Yeah.
I really want to see people being happy, being supported, and that's why.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful reason. I think so many of us who are in these helping professions that surround motherhood are so often coming to it because we either had a very positive or a very negative experience ourselves, and we want to either replicate that or fix it. That's a recurring story I hear. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about why you, Rivka, are shining as a doula. What is the special aspects that you bring to your work as a doula?
Firstly, I got a lot of experience, and secondly, I got to the age, thank God, that I'm already not just a mother but a grandmother. All my kids are married or out of the house, so I have a lot of time on me. And I must tell you that I don't take many births a month because I really want to give my birth client as much possibility and time. So yeah, so that's the thing. And also, what I think is very important is I try to prepare my doula client with tools how to firstly feel better at pregnancy already, to breathe better, to feel stronger, and also to prepare herself for the upcoming birth. So I do that through pregnancy yoga, which of course also works on breathing, which is so important, and relaxation and touch. I even teach her how to touch herself, to connect to the baby in her womb, and also to guided imagery. I make sure that she feels like sometimes you're very scared of this thing of being actually a mother suddenly, especially the first ones.
Yeah.
To learn how to release.
Yeah.
So I have different modalities. So one is yoga for pregnancy and birth. And then I also have my Imaroga treatment, which is like a combination of reflexology, guided imagery, breath work, and relaxation. So that is very good. I give that usually as my packet is one. They can actually choose between that or yoga for women. I have different packages if they wanted to. What I also feel very important is that I um, prepare my her birth partner, whoever's going to be at birth with her, to
Hmm.
be able to support her. It's not just with also movements that some people don't touch, but just how support her, that he takes the role of telling the nurse. So give him tools, what to say to the staff, how to make it more comfortable. Because with birthing lady, what she always wants to do is just go inwards
Yeah.
and be like focused on birth and the baby and not having to worry about different lights or noises.
Right.
So I'm, yeah, and there are also different tools like I teach them rebozo, which is like with a scarf, how to like help the woman to help the birthing lady to get the baby in a better position or
Yeah.
get labor started, or also something called spinning babies. I teach that the birth partner. So
That's a wonderful package of skills. I'm sure it really helps the women that you work with. Can you tell us a story, maybe of wonderful or important or interesting birth that you've been at recently that you think
I've
would
got two
share
births. One is a corona birth, and one is not a corona. Well, the corona birth was very interesting. It's actually a standby. It's it just was actually it was Motzei Shabbat when they suddenly said we're closing all the schools. It was just after Purim or something like that. And it was a lady. She was so tense because her husband couldn't be with her.
with?
And so what we did together, we did a lot of dancing to music.
Mm,
There was actually in Hadassah Har Tzofim, and they had a room with a jacuzzi. So the
mm.
jacuzzi we didn't use, but we did do the dancing together, and that was really fun. It really relaxed her a lot. That
Wow.
was really, really good. That was one. And the other one was a lady, she wanted to really have a home birth, but she couldn't afford a midwife.
Mm,
So she chose a special hospital, which is kind of very meant to be very supportive for that. She really wanted to have a water birth, but all the water birth rooms were taken.
mm.
And in the end, they didn't even let the husband be with her for administrational purposes they had in that hospital. And
Oh,
the end was I was on my own with this, the nurse never checked in. And I couldn't really leave her either.
right.
So we just did it. It wasn't the first birth.
Hmm.
I just did a sort of, we just sort of did a kind of, I massaged her back like while she was in the shower, and
Yeah.
the baby never came out, and the nurse still hadn't arrived. And I
Wow.
screamed, and in the end, she did come, and it was fine. But that was sort of, but it was amazing that like, the maneuver, the pelvic maneuver I did with her, and she did it too,
Hmm.
was helped her. She was all labor standing nearly,
Wow.
touching over it was in the bathroom. We did the
Yeah.
showering and that, but yeah,
Mm.
that was two most amazing births I was, and kind of a bit scary too, but
Oh,
everything's fine. In the end, she did come. And she did get the head then, and then she went to the bed at the end. But it was really good. Good that she was able to stand, not had to lie down.
yeah, it's so helpful to birth to be in a position where gravity is helping us along.
So she found that was a really great birth. So that was really good that she, yeah,
Yeah, how the mother feels about it afterwards. I mean, that's the most important
that's
part.
the main thing, right? And she felt very good after. I felt bad because of that her husband couldn't be there and all that stuff, but
Right.
she
But you
felt fine.
stepped
And that is the most important thing, that the mom feels fine,
up. Hmm.
and that her narrative is that it's great. It was a good birth. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what. The
Yeah,
baby's fine, the mother's fine, and she's happy.
absolutely. If you um wanted to give a woman one piece of advice
Oh, there's a
for her birthing period before or after, what would it be?
So firstly, one thing is very, very important is to release, we do that in yoga a lot, releasing the jaw muscles.
Hmm.
Now, why is it important? Often our jaw muscles are very, very clenched. It also gives a lot of pain in the back, but it also affects the pelvis area and also affects the birthing canal. So if it's very clenched, so I teach them how to release. That's very important. But I really want to also, there's two other things, mainly for perhaps mothers. One is very, very important, that she has organized meals, or a caring professional or husband or her father or her mother or somebody who's going to be there for her in the 6 weeks after birth. Okay, that she can only just sleep and eat and nurse.
Yeah.
That's very important. And another very important part is also for her birthing partner, the person who's going to be with her after birth. Look out for if she is not just having baby blues, but if she might have depression.
Yeah.
And if she's acting she doesn't eat, or it's very, very important to make that, because if you nip it in the bud, you can really help the lady a lot. And unfortunately, I met a few people in my treatments who had long effects of postnatal depression.
Yeah, and there's also postpartum anxiety as well, which is a little different and still definitely something for people to look out for. I'm sure I had it with my first child and didn't know what it was. I didn't know it was a thing, so I didn't know how to define what I was experiencing. But it was like this experience where I couldn't fall asleep unless I could hear my baby breathing. So he had to sleep next to me all the time, or I physically couldn't sleep. And just like, I couldn't give him to anyone else to hold, anxiety, things like that. So, there's depression and there's anxiety, and they manifest differently. All right. Well, it was really great to get to know you today. And I'm so happy that I know what you do better and the people listening know what you do better. So thank you for being with us today, Rivka. Friends, check out the full directory for every interview we've done up until now, housed at my website, growinghappybabies.com. But before you go, I've got one question. Are you the kind of person who learns better by listening or by doing? In my 2-part online prenatal breastfeeding class, The Pocket Prenatal, I blend the basics of breastfeeding with practical hands-on skills. Choose to watch the videos on your computer or phone, read through the transcripts, or pop in an earbud, take a walk, and listen to the audio-only podcast version. After you've dived into the what's and whys of breastfeeding, join part 2, our live hands-on class, where we roll up our sleeves and practice the how of breastfeeding. Experience hand expression, learn how to size yourself for better pumping, practice bottle feeding techniques that improve your baby's sucking skills, and use easy bodywork exercises to help your baby's comfort, sleep, and digestion. You're going to walk out of this class with an essential toolkit for navigating early motherhood. This is the class every baby needs their mother to take. Go to thepocketprenatal.com and use your listener code, growinghappybabies, for a special 10% discount. See you there.